Welcome to Talking Live. I'm Dr. Robi Ludwig out of Starshot Studio in Times Square, and today we are gossiping. Yes, that's what we are doing. We have all the exclusive dish because my friend Rob Shooter is here, and he gave me things that people can't get until next week.
Yeah, they haven't broke yet. I love that you say gossiping, and it's like
I know.
don't be ashamed of it. Like I totally
know.
get. Liz Smith, I think, was the great Liz Smith, who was a gossip columnist in New York forever, and one of the greatest.
Yeah.
She would always say, like, she was really proud to be a gossip columnist, and
psychologically, it's healthy.
Tell me about this.
Yeah, it's really true. I actually did a segment about this on the Today Show with Wendy Williams, who you go on all the time.
Pretty great.
And we talked about how it connects you to the community and helps you know what's safe and what's dangerous. And so it can help you actually stay in sync with what's going on.
Yeah, I have no qualms about it. Like,
I know you don't.
People ask me what I do. I love to say a gossip columnist, and I love their reaction. And you can see they're always like a little shy about it. I was a gossip from the earliest of ages. Like, what stopped me getting beat up at school was being a gossip. I knew everyone's secrets. I knew what everybody was up to.
How'd you find out?
Oh, because they would tell me so. I'm still amazed to this day that people tell you. If you shut up, which is hard for me to do, but if you shut up for long enough, people actually do tell you stuff. And then, like, the best way for me to listen to a conversation is when friends say, I shouldn't tell you this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then tell me.
Yes.
Like, I definitely want to know.
Yeah.
And so, I was always nosy. I always knew what was going on in my family.
You were curious.
Curious.
And here's the thing. If you want a heads up, a good gossip is always a good listener.
I'm a really good listener.
You're a good listener.
And I'm really interested in, like, people's stories. And I love the minutiae, and I love the detail. I love when I'm in a restaurant and I see a celebrity. I love to see if they leave a big tip or not, or I love to see if they're kind. I can always tell if they're gay and in the closet because they always look at the male waiters' bottoms. So you always. I had dinner with Ryan Seacrest, and there's lots of rumors.
Marvin is also clapping behind
there's lots of rumors that Ryan Seacrest is gay. He's not. But I remember having dinner with him before he became like a superstar. It was like the first or the second year of Idol. And I remember we had dinner in LA, and there was a really hot waiter. And when the waiter walked away, all the gay guys at the table looked at the waiter's bottom. Ryan didn't. And that's when I knew. I was like, he's not gay. He's definitely not gay.
So that was probably sad for a few people because he's a good-looking guy, right?
And very good. Yeah, that's always helps. And so, I liked gossip. I like tales. I like stories. I'm not ashamed of it. I love being a gossip columnist.
And people love you, and you're kind about it, but you actually started out as a publicist.
Yeah. I was a publicist for a good 10, 15 years. I repped J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
I had Diddy.
And we have some gossip about her as well.
I learned, like...
What'd you learn from
I learned to Jennifer how to work. Like, J-Lo might not be the best singer or actress or dancer in the world.
I think she's talented.
She is talented, but her biggest talent is she just doesn't stop. She has a work ethic and an ambition, the likes of which is much greater than any talent. And I'm not saying she's not talented. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying her real talent is her drive. Like, I remember there's this show on MTV once called Driven. And I thought it was such a great name for a book or a show because the successful people that I've met in my life, the one thing they all have in common, it's not talent. It's drive.
Because talent is not enough. There are a lot of talented people out there, and you need to put yourself out there. You need to be resilient.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, and this sounds awful, but maybe it's a good thing for people watching. If I could pick out a talent or ambition, I'd pick ambition. Because I know a lot of really talented people I went to school with. I went to school in Edinburgh, thank you. Were much more talented than me. And their lives have maybe not become as exciting because their talent was something they always cloaked themselves in, and they never had any ambition. I really don't have much talent at all, but I'm ambitious. I'm ambitious.
I'm passionate.
I like that word too.
I'm passionate because I wake up and I love what I do so much.
Yeah, I like it.
It keeps me going that if I don't do it, I'm not myself.
Yeah, but if you want a job in this business or any business, and you're watching this, like, don't think you have to be really talented in any business. I mean, it sounds awful. Am I giving horrible secrets? Like, in any business, like, I used to work for P. Diddy. I don't really know what Diddy does. Like,
I don't know what he does.
I worked for him, and I think he sells T-shirts, and I don't really know. I think he's a rapper. I don't really know what he does, but what I do know what he does is he's just fabulous. He's our generation's
Yeah.
Barnum.
Uh-huh.
He's like PJ Barnum. Like, he puts on a show. Like, everywhere he goes, if he turned up here, he'd have a fur coat on or the glitter. It's just
I guess
everything's
if you
big.
inspire people.
Yeah, it's really
you know, if
fascinating.
people can emulate you or want to emulate you, and there are people that do have that it factor, but you undersell yourself because you worked with OK Magazine.
I was the editor of OK.
Yes. And
When I decided I didn't want to do PR anymore, I became an OK.
I know, but as executive editor, you brought that magazine to #1. You sold over 1 million copies.
Yeah, we did really well. And I think what it was,
you had something going on.
I knew what people wanted to hear. And I know it because at dinner, I would tell stories of people would like zone out. I was like, they don't want to hear about that. So like, they don't care about Bethany Frankel anymore. Like, if I tell a Bethany story, I thought, oh, this is so. They're like, oh, whatever.
She's trying though because she just said that she dated Meghan Markle's
She did.
ex.
She hates me. She was on the radio a couple of weeks ago and she called me a poor man's Perez. Mean.
Oh, that's
mean.
not nice.
I might have called her a
That's
poor
not
Kardashian.
true.
I might have called her a poor Kardashian. So it's sort of quid pro quo. But she's not my biggest fan. But you can tell at
She may have bad taste.
You can tell she probably has good taste. You can tell at like dinners and parties. You can tell what people are interested in. Like at the moment, it's all royals. That's all anyone wants to talk about.
That's all I want.
All Meghan.
Yeah.
Who's talking about ambition? I don't know what she does, but she got a prince.
Well,
so whatever she's doing, she did it well.
I'll tell you. So let's talk a little bit about that. We put a compilation of people and actors together that you have exclusive information on.
Oh, let's dish.
Our audience gets the Today Show, which I watched this morning, and I was like, I'm going to see if there's overlap.
It's been nothing. That show, I love doing the Today Show. The Today Show is a really nice American show that's wholesome, and so like they don't even call it gossip; they call it buzz. So when you do the Today Show, it's celebrity buzz.
Oh, I kind of like that.
And it's sort of like a polite and kinder way of saying this. So no, my stories on the Today Show are a little different. I thought I could be a little bit more naughty with you, Robin, because I've known you for so long.
No, you can be naughty with me. I mean, we're naughty with each other.
We are naughty. We've got out at nights. We've been to some fancy parties. And we've sat in the corner and we've drank way too much wine. And we sit there and we giggle.
I have a picture of us from one of those
let
parties.
me see. I'm
wait. There we go. Yes.
Oh, we look adorable. And we look relatively sober.
I know. I think it was a
taken early in the evening. That was me at the party. Oh, God bless.
But the truth is, that was a party that the host didn't want me at. She invited me and then didn't want me.
I remember it. And then all night we gossiped about her. It was great. And it's not me gossip, or it's sort of me.
She left before we did. That's the funny
we closed
thing.
down the restaurant.
And we did.
And on her tab. Thank you very much.
We enjoyed it. Thank you, Michaels. We always love you. But let's get back to the celebrities.
Who do you want to talk about? Who we got?
All right, we are starting with Meghan Markle and Kim Kardashian.
So
they are kind of the stars right now.
They are. I mean, it's so interesting. I've known Kim and around the Kardashians for a long time.
Yeah.
Kim has, for the last decade, been probably the biggest celebrity in the world. And you're not going to want to hear that. And I get it. And you're going to be, no, Angelina's bigger, Brad's bigger. Kim Kardashian has consistently sold magazines for 10 years. That's why she's always on the cover.
Well, she's pretty to look at.
She's
and she's a nice girl.
And she's interesting. And remember this, and it's a really important lesson for your life. Love and hate are two powerful emotions.
Yes.
Hate's more powerful. So if you hate somebody, you're more likely to spend time focused on them, reading about them, like being obsessed by them. They do buy it. Yeah. They buy these magazines. So Kim for 10 years has really been the queen of the magazines. The only person that's knocked Kim literally off the cover, is Meghan Markle. Meghan is now the it girl, and my sources are telling me that she's a little jealous about it. That for the first time in a decade, Kim has some real competition. She had a little bit with Jessica Simpson when Jess was with Nick. She had a little bit from J-Lo. But if you wanted to sell, you put Kim on. Even Vogue was putting Kim on the cover. So, Kim was the it girl. When there was no news, when I was at the magazines, if we had no real news that week, we did Kim. Because it just always sold. She was like a safety net.
She's like an evergreen story.
Yeah, but not anymore. Now it's Meghan. So my sources are saying that Kim's sort of a little bit bothered. And get this. It ain't going to get any better, Kim, if you're watching. It ain't going to get any better. No. When she's married, then she can have babies.
Right.
And then she's going to tour the world. Then she can have more babies. And then she might break up, God forbid. Sorry. So Kim, get used to it. You are now in Meghan's shadow.
And here's psychologically, that.
Oh, yes, you're
once you are the it girl, you're going to definitely be the not it girl.
But they never want to admit that. I had a client who was a model, a real supermodel.
Send them to me.
And her clock stopped literally in her house in the mid-80s at the peak of her fame, at the peak. And if you think about it in your own life, you reminisce to the moment in your life when you were the biggest or the most successful, and you still tell stories about.
I'm trying to figure out
back
when
in the day.
that was.
Oh, I'm still telling stories like when I worked for J-Lo. I won't let it go. It was years ago. Let it go. But I think the same with celebrities.
Yeah.
Why is that psychologically? Why do we stick in the moment that was the biggest? Like Liza Minnelli. Cabaret was 30 years ago. I love you, Liza. Move on.
Well, because we're very drawn to what feels good. Think about addiction, right? We're drawn to anything that makes us feel good. So in terms of our memories, we want those memories that help us to feel that we're on top of everything.
Is that why people like high school reunions?
Yeah.
We wanted it because they still had their hair, some had their teeth, and it was like still a really great moment. And I was like, wow, it was a good moment. I liked it, but I don't think I'm desperate to go back.
I feel the same way. I mean, but I find there were certain times in my career that I'll like post a little bit too much on like Way Back Wednesday. And
That's why we like
I think I'm like losing my friends. They're like, okay.
But why do you do it? But why did we do that? Because I love that. I love it.
Because it reminds me that I actually did have some successes. It's nice to remember.
For me, it's like I used to weigh 170 pounds.
I really was successful once. People liked me once.
So Kim, you heard it from the doctor. How can you let go of this? How can Kim move on?
I think she just has to understand it's not a statement about her. It's not personal. It's the movement. And if she really wants to do something great, find something that's really purposeful. It's time for her to then move to the next level.
Right.
So what's her mission? And then I think people calm down and will get curious about her again.
Is it a cliche or is it true? And you hear it all the time. Hating somebody else isn't going to make yourself love you anymore. Or saying someone's fat doesn't make me thin.
Did you, that's right.
It is true.
It's somebody else's success has nothing to do whether you succeed or not. Did you think about did you watch War Paint? I know you're a big Broadway guy.
I love it.
That was brilliant because in War Paint you had the two
leading
moguls.
Ladies.
So it was Helena Rubinstein, right?
And Elizabeth Arden.
And Elizabeth Arden, right?
Yes,
right. And it was it Essie? Was that her name?
Essie came along and knocked them off the top.
So, but they were so busy competing with each other, they didn't look behind, and L'Oreal was actually, going to bulldoze past both of them.
No, it's really interesting. Like, I think when Bethany wanted to hurt my feelings by calling me a cheap men's Perez, it really didn't. Because I don't really care.
Right.
Like, it doesn't I don't look in people's.
That's when you get older. When you get older, you know who you are.
Yeah,
and
I don't know who I am.
You more fame.
Yeah, I loved it. I was like, keep talking about me, Bethany. It helps my career.
Bethany, please say something about me. If it's bad, even better.
Who else do we have? What more dish?
Okay, so we have Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
They're not talking. So now my sources say he's found someone new. So this week you're going to find out on the magazine covers who he's dating.
I think I know who it is.
He's met a new, really smart lady. People are saying that it's his version of Amal, George Clooney's wife. Yeah. It's not an Angelina. It's not an actress. It's not Vavoom. She's very beautiful, the new lady. But it's a really smart, intellectual girl that he's met.
I think that kind of works in terms of balance, having somebody who's in the business and out of the business, because they're not competing with one
that's
another.
Interesting. Yeah,
and they also bring a different element to the table.
Right.
And he probably admires and respects her, because even though he's talented, he may not be.
Brad, he's not dumb, but he's not smart, I guess.
He's good looking enough.
I was at GMA once at Good Morning America, and he was a guest, and he walked in. He's like an avatar. He's got to be 7 foot. He's so tall. I'm a tall guy, but I definitely looked up, and he's skinny, and he has that sort of chiseled jaw, and he has bad skin. I know. I was really happy.
Did he smell?
No, did not smell.
He did not
but he
smell.
had bad skin, and I really loved it. Because I was like, oh my God, if Brad Pitt has pimples, why do I care?
Why
like when I get a spot. Like if I get a spot, I take a week off work. And I was like, Brad Pitt's walking around with pimples on his face.
Oh, please, that's what makeup's for.
Back to the gossip. Him and Angelina barely speak now. They only communicate about the kids, and it's mainly done through nannies or assistants or like
What about him and Jennifer Aniston?
We would love to think they're going to get back together. I think it's gone.
It's done.
And I think, the new girl's smart. The new girl's really smart. And dark hair. Does that say anything?
I saw a picture. She's pretty. So that'll be out as well. So we'll see what happens there. Justin Timberlake in the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
This is so cheeky and naughty. I love this story. So NSYNC has finally got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Finally.
So when you get, they should have one already.
Yeah.
So it always amazes me when I see last week Wonder Woman, Linda Carter got a star. Yeah. Why the hell didn't Linda Woman get a star like 20 years ago?
Where's our star?
Well, we'll get one here in Starshot.
Okay.
If we don't get one here, I want one right here where we're sitting.
There's
Or maybe
one.
an
That's
eternal
not-
flame just before we jump out the window. But so he's getting a star. Let me correct. NSYNC is getting a star. So you're going to see all these teaser headlines. It's clickbait. Don't do it. NSYNC get back together. They're getting back together to get the star. This is where it gets delicious. Everyone that gets a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, every person, has to pay $30,000. You have to pay for your own star. So you have to pay for the installation of that star. The star's not free. It's like when you get a gold record, you've got to pay for the record.
Who knew?
So the star is $30,000.
That's a lot of money.
It's not cheap for Lance Bass, who hasn't worked in 20 years. I'm sure he's got it. But my sources are telling me of the group Justin's paying.
I think that's lovely.
Because otherwise it'd be $6,000 each. And they have not worked in a while. They're very rich. They can all afford $30,000. But Justin's going to pay for the star. Now, normally you get a star when your movie's coming out or your album's coming out and the record company will pay, or the movie company because it's publicity. They don't have a movie. They don't have a record company because the group doesn't exist. And the Hollywood people are like, we don't care. We want our check for $30,000. We don't care who writes the check.
Everybody wants the money.
You're not getting the star unless you pay $30,000. Can you imagine the day off? Like they're like, the check didn't clear. You're not going to get it. So I'm told Justin has stepped forward, and I'm not sure there was that much debate. I think Justin was like,
Oh, that's really nice.
So God bless you, Justin. You're adorable.
Oh, we love that.
JT's paying for the star.
Katy Perry in American Idol.
It looks like it doesn't look good. So American Idol's back.
And how much did she get
25
paid?
million.
Why is no one offering me that?
Which is more than the original host.
I'll sing.
She doesn't even have to sing for it. She just has to judge people, which we do daily on the C train. I mean, come on. So she's paid 25 million. We know TV a little bit. I'm no producer. I'm no head of a network. The show went off the air because the numbers were going down. So they decided to bring the show back, and they paid more money for the show than they did originally. So the show's budget is through the roof. If you pay 25 million for one cast member, you have to get massive ratings for that to just be justifiable. And they're not getting the ratings. The numbers are not bad, but they're not good.
They're not good.
They're not good. They're not 25 million good.
So it looks like she's going to be gone.
I think Katie's going to quit the show. I think this is going to be Katie's
Bye-bye,
first
Katie.
season. I don't think she's going to come back. And now today, there's even rumours that My Idol in its entirety might not come back.
Well, every show has its day.
It does, doesn't it?
And then I guess it can get revived in 20 years.
But they waited, 6 months?
Yeah.
Like, at least Roseanne waited 20 years.
Yeah, you need to go.
They waited
It's like a fine wine.
6 months. Ryan Seacrest looks exactly,
nothing.
doesn't get any older. So I think we're going to see Katy Perry leave the show if it comes back. And if it doesn't come back, then they're all going to be looking for a job.
Anderson Cooper is still...
He's still with his boyfriend. So
Wow.
Anderson and Ben broke up. And Ben owns this bar in the East Village called Club Cummings, and he owns it with Alan Cummings. The day they broke up on a Wednesday, on Tuesday night, I went to the bar and I saw Ben. He was there. He's behind the bar. So is Alan Cummings, like doing vodka sodas.
Can we go there
No,
together?
it's fantastic.
I want to go there with you.
We went one night, and there was a little off the subject, but while we're here, we're all friends.
Yes.
We went one night, and there was a painter there who painted with his penis.
Wow.
I mean, what else? I mean,
As you said, it's not about talent.
It's not. Meanwhile, he had talent. Like, he had a lot of talent. So I went to this bar. He was there. My sources are saying he's still living with Anderson. They live in a firehouse. So there's a firehouse in the village that still has a pole in it. I swear to God. At the Christmas party, Anderson lets people go up and down the pole. Maybe not up and down.
Why are they still living together?
Well, they're not together because they don't have money.
Right.
Like Ben could, Anderson doesn't need. I'm told they still love each other, and even though they're not dating anymore, they will always be friends.
Yeah.
They've always had sort of a roller coaster type relationship, but they've split. They are not together romantically, but they're still living under the same roof, and nobody has any date to leave. So I think they'll get back together.
Okay. Did you ever double date with them?
No, I'm not
No?
fancy enough.
Okay.
No, I'm
You're not
annoying
fancy
too,
enough?
and I'm cheap.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, moving on.
So they want to go
Jennifer
to
Lopez.
the Olive Garden.
Let's bring it back to Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
Who you were. Her
I did. I worked for
publicist.
J-Lo, yeah.
And what's the latest with her?
The rumors on J-Lo, and I think J-Lo's really mellowed. So over time, J-Lo has this reputation of being a real diva.
Yeah.
I mean, almost to the point where it's legendary that she wouldn't walk in a room unless everything was white.
Right.
She was one of those celebrities where allegedly she had to have white carpets and white flowers and white furniture. I'm told that recently she did a round of interviews, and the people that were interviewing her got sent her rider. A rider is a list of demands that a star needs before they turn up anywhere. And one of the things on her rider was an Asian pear. I don't know what an Asian pear is, but I thought a pear was a pear. But apparently not. So they were terrified they could not find the Asian pair. Jennifer turned up, and these producers are terrified that J-Lo's going to like go all gangster on them because there's no pair. And so they were like, we're really sorry about that. You know, they were bowing when they said it. She didn't care less. And so I'm told those days of the silliness.
So maybe having kids.
I think she's mellowed. I think she's got a little older.
Up.
She grew up. Yeah. And I also think too, all those demands are to cover up for your insecurity. Yeah. And I think now she's got nothing to prove. She's J-Lo. She's got A-Rod. Like, screw you all.
Do you think she'll marry?
I don't. I'm told he's got cold feet.
He has.
Yeah, not her. Because she jumps in fast. Like when she's in love.
Well, it's usually the men who have cold feet.
Yeah. Well, this is her fifth marriage, right? It's her fifth, fifth. She jumps in. I think he's more reserved about this. They're living together. She sold the apartment. They've got an apartment together. All of this is looking good. Their kids know each other. Yeah. It's all looking lovely. I don't think he's ready to put a ring on it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wait and see. You'll come back and let us know.
If he doesn't and she wants a ring, she'll win. Yeah. I mean, he will do it if she wants it, I guess. Yeah. But he's not chomping at the bit to tie the knot.
Star Jones no longer taking freebies.
I got such trouble for this story. Star Jones got married on a cruise ship a couple of days ago. So it's her second marriage. Yeah. Her first marriage to Al Reynolds, who I think has now come out as bisexual, I think. Yes. We'll say yes. Her first marriage, she had all these sponsors. Remember, she had the free dresses and the free shoes.
And it was her downfall.
And I think she got fired from The View because she was on The View plugging everything. So they were all sitting around The View, and like Barbara Walters was sitting there. Star was like, I'm wearing a pair of Payless shoes who sponsored my wedding. And they're like, what? And so after a while, they figured out everything at a Star's mouth. Like when she picked up a mug, it was like, home shopping. Like, it was like, what? Yeah. And so Star got in a ton of trouble for getting free sponsors for her wedding, to the point where when she first got married, her marriage website, she had a website for her marriage, had official airlines. It was like Continental Airlines, the official airlines of Star Jones. So when I saw her get married, I was like, this is too delicious. Let's see if she's still getting freebies. Yeah. So I poked about, and I was dying to find out that Carnival Cruises did it free, the photographer, none of it was free. Star paid for everything. She learned her lesson. And not only did she pay for it, she kept the receipts. She kept the receipts.
It's not worth bad press.
It's not worth it.
That's what you learned, because it pays more to get rid of the bad press.
She lost her job for this.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I mean, like, because
I think she would take things for free, but she learned.
Debbie Metanopoulos. Remember Debbie that was on the show?
And I like Debbie.
I love Debbie.
A nice girl.
I had dinner with Debbie once, and Debbie, sorry if I'm telling tales, Debbie. You should tell
Debbie's
it.
a nice girl.
And so I was having dinner with Debbie, and Debbie was like, she was really young. She was the young girl on The View, like she didn't really know the game. Yeah. And she said she went on vacation with Star, and everything was free. Like the food was free, the hotel was free. And Debbie was like, she didn't really figure out what was going on. She was like, did I witness a crime? Like, why is all this free? Like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, it's like a beshizzle. It's like a scam. Like if I'm on TV, I can drop a name of somewhere and I get free drinks. Right. And so Star was like the master of this, but no more.
And one thing Star is very smart.
She's a lawyer. She tells you.
But not all lawyers are smart.
Oh, okay.
She's smart.
So no more free stuff for Star. Star, I'm so sorry. I know you're going to be mad.
And congratulations on
your
wedding.
Congratulations. That's
We're
been
happy
nice.
for you.
God bless her.
Jerry O'Connell developing a new show.
I love this guy.
On Wendy Williams.
I didn't really know who he was. So he's like a child actor. You knew him?
I did. Because he's married to that model.
Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
Yes.
Oh, I was her publicist for a couple of minutes when she was Rebecca Romaine Stamos. She was married to John Stamos.
That's right.
And so Jerry filled in for Wendy for a week on her talk show, the Wendy Williams show, and it was more like an audition. So when Wendy says that she invited him, that it was her choice, I think that's all true, but I also think the producers of her show were like, this is a free test. To test a show on TV costs millions of dollars. So when a host is away, to slip somebody in, it's like what Kelly Ripa did. Remember when Michael Strahan
left? She also did it with Jerry, too.
Yes, she did. He was great. So she had a rotating host. Yeah. So Wendy had Jerry host for a week. He was fabulous. I thought it was fabulous.
It was fun.
It was so over the top and so campy and so... It was like playing a gay guy, like so crazy and fun. He's kicking his leg.
We need lightness.
He was like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, we need a little lightness.
We did a little lightness. In any case, he did so well. People were so impressed. The ratings were good that now Jerry is developing his own talk show.
Well, we wish him luck with that.
I
keep
love
us
that.
Posted.
I do.
One more person, and then we'll go to the Quick Five.
Sure.
You know what the Quick Five is?
We'll do it.
All right. Kelly Clarkson replacing Jennifer Hudson on The Voice.
So Kelly Clarkson was brought into The Voice as a really mean but smart. It's just evil genius. The Voice knew they were going to go up against American Idol for the first time.
Yeah.
And they were worried. Like,
Yeah.
Idol's a big juggernaut of a show.
Yeah.
So they were like, how can we compete with American Idol? Let's hire the first person to ever win American Idol as a host. So they never really hired Kelly because they wanted her. And that's no disrespect. They hired her, they wanted her, but it's also a really political, smart, clever move.
Yeah.
She not only is killing, she's fantastic.
She's very nice.
She's so funny and cheeky and real and charming that now my sources are like, they wish they'd done this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and get this too, which really drives me a bit crazy, but it's worth remembering. The men on the Voice have not changed. Adam and Blake have been there from. So why are the women rotating? Why are the women not good enough to stay there? So I'm told like Kelly's going to become a permanent, member.
You go, Kelly.
Go, Kelly.
You go, Kelly. All right, quick 5.
Yeah, do it. What's this?
What celebrity would you rate as a perfect 10?
Oh, I like Meryl Streep. And I think I like her because I know so little about her and she's really, really extraordinarily talented, which is the opposite of how we opened this because I said I don't really care about talent. Right. But when talent like that comes along, it's just like if I saw Meryl, I'd be really a star. I'd be freaking out.
Yeah,
there's some people
with me it would be Goldie Hawn. I think I'd be starstruck.
She's pretty great. I saw her a couple of months ago.
Oh, did
I was at this party in LA. It was a Stella McCartney fashion show. Her dad turned up, Paul McCartney, and got on the stage and started to sing. God. I know. And some of the young fools in the party were like, "Who's that old man?" I was like, "You have to get out of this party right now." And they were like, "Who's Grandpa?" I was like, rude. Goldie Hawn was there with Kate Hudson, and they were dancing together to Paul McCartney, sweet. And they're the real deal.
I love it. What inspires you?
What inspires me is people with no talent who are really famous. So I bought a copy of Sarah Palin's autobiography, and it's on my desk at home. And whenever I get nervous about going on TV on Wendy or the Today Show, or when I think I can't do anything, I put my hand on Sarah Palin's book, and I'm like, she ran for the vice president and I'm nervous about talking to Wendy Williams. That's what inspires me. Stupid people that are successful. Never be inspired by really talented people because they're really talented. Always pick someone that's hopeless. That really has no talent.
I love that.
That inspires me.
I think I'm going to do that next.
Do it. Think of someone horrible who's really successful. It'll change your life.
What did you want to be when you were little?
Oh, I wanted to be happy. And so when I was little and I blew out, and I still do it, when I blow out my candles on my birthday, my wish is to laugh out loud every day. Every day. Even when I was like 6, I started 6 candles.
That's why you're a pleasure to be around.
I wanted to laugh, and I have a belly laughter every day.
You're a good friend.
We're good friends. It's good to be good friends.
Wait, we have 2 more before you get rid of. Quick. What's the most useless talent you have?
I can play the trumpet.
Oh.
Okay.
Maybe it's not so useless.
Oh, I can play the trumpet.
Okay. How would you convince somebody to do something they did not want to do?
I would tell them not to do it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Listen.
Then they do it.
I want everybody, this is like my fun, this is my guilty pleasure,
Thank you.
Not so guilty. I have to say, go out and read Straight Shooter, and you're going to find out all this information is going to be in this week, this Wednesday.
Yeah, this Wednesday. You'll find it all.
For the Inquirer, which is one of my favorites, and it was my grandmother's favorite magazine.
I love it. Now the #2 magazine in America.
Yeah.
It's People is #1, The Inquirer is #2. Beats everybody
else.
Thanks
to you. Listen, Rob, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget, Straight Shooter, Rob Shooter, the best.